Hello. Adjust my camera. Hi, everybody. Welcome. It's Wednesday here in Japan. It's probably Tuesday for most of you guys. I'm just cold. It's like rainy and chilly here. I've written down some ideas for today's comic, so I'm just going to start sketching it out here. Hold on a second, though. I've got to find my reference. This bottom panel is going to be one long shot. I think we're going to have maybe 4 panels on the top. Hey, Dwayne Nichols. How you doing? Good morning, good evening. It's actually noon here now. It's noon here, but this is my first coffee of the day. I've been, I guess, intermittent fasting. Like I haven't been eating breakfast basically. So I'm kind of hungry. Coffee. Hey, Brendan. Drinking my coffee black now. I've been making this. I think I talked about this before. I've been using this stovetop. I learned that a stovetop espresso maker is not actually espresso. It's actually called a mocha cup, the stovetop espresso maker. And the coffee it makes is actually more caffeinated definitely more caffeinated than espresso, possibly more caffeinated than drip coffee, though I don't know how that would be. But yeah, technically not espresso. Dog Trot, how's it going? I already know how it's going. I talked to you and Brendan on Discord not long ago. Sirius Croft, hi. Are you still in Japan? I am still in Japan. It's noon here in Japan, and it's technically like kind of starting to warm up. It's sort of getting more springtimey, but it's freezing today. I don't know why. It's rainy and cold. This coffee's helping. So what's new, everybody? Trying to think of what I feel like a week feels like a long time to not be streaming. Oh, frostbite warning. Hey, Andre. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, it feels like, I guess because I was kind of popping on the stream spontaneously more often a couple weeks ago, but it feels like a long time, like a week, to not come on here. But it's mostly because I've been in deadline mode. I think I'll probably pick it up a bit more. Easel is coming along. I'm working on a Charles Christopher comic right now. Easel issue A7, yeah, Easel issue 7 goes to the printer on the 8th, which is, when is that, Friday? Anyway, this week. So I'm just finishing up some last minute stuff and polishing it. It's all like we sent the files in. It's basically done. But we're always editing stuff up till the end. So it's coming along, and then Brendan and I are working on the issue 8 script. Ubisoft job fell through. That sucks. Sorry about that, Brendan. Does that mean no Montreal for you? If you just, I mean, there are a million game companies in Montreal. You know, I think I know a few people at Square Enix in Montreal, and that seems like a really, it's like it seems like a pretty small studio. Like they're making those like Tomb Raider mobile games. It's like what's it, Lara Croft Go, which is actually really great, and Hitman Go. It seems like a fun place to work. Not quite as sprawling as Ubisoft. I don't know if it's Eidos is Square also, right? Wait, is Eidos making it? I don't know. Whoever's making the those mobile games. Writing for games is hard. Just talking to when we were working on Assassin's Creed, talking to the guys who were writing Assassin's Creed, some of them, it was always it's a lot of frustration because you're usually writing. Um, there's some people who are just writing a ton of lore and backstory, but then a lot of the writing comes down to just writing around game mechanics and levels that people have made up. So it'll be like, and I'm sure you know this, but you know, they'll make a game around a certain mechanic and then create a bunch of fun levels around that mechanic, and then you pretty much have to write around that. And if your story, like a lot of good story stuff, gets hacked up and messed up in in favor of fitting to this game format, which is not wrong, but it's just frustrating. Yeah, it's harder. I mean, it's probably easier to get a job as a game writer than a comic book writer now, just because the opportunities are um, so slim. Enderst creates. Hello, it's noon here right now. I'm just looking up some reference here, photo reference. I haven't drawn a bear in a while. Oh, that's cool, Dwayne. Um, yeah, board games are. I mean, I've never worked in board game industry. Is there a board game industry? But yeah, I can imagine. Well, I mean, all those games, all games are revolve around some kind of mechanic, right? Some sort of game loop. What are some good board games you guys recommend? I played like there's some I played a bunch of like I've never played Catan. I know these are super obvious popular ones, but I played a bunch of Carcassonne, and I like my wife and I'll sometimes play board games. We like small cooperative ones. Pandemic Legacy. Okay, sounds dark. Oh, it's co-op. Oh, that's cool. Okay, I'll check that out. Medici. Do you play a patron of the arts? Betrayal at House on the Hill. That sounds like it's up my alley. Is that it sounds like a horror game. Star Wars Outer Rim is a board game, Dwayne? I bought what's that super backstabby one? This very popular game that shit, I can't remember the name. I bought it, but we've never played it. It's supposed to be a great game, but my wife and I have never played it because it looked kind of involved and it looked stressful. Haunted house board game with a bunch of scenarios. That sounds awesome, Brendan. I'll have to check that out. Oh, thanks. Okay, Discord link. So, hey Geketsu, welcome. Monopoly gets a bad rap, but I kind of still enjoy it. I should maybe start playing that with my kids. It might be old enough to sort of get it. Is Monopoly shameful? Like, why do people? It feels kind of like I haven't spent a lot of time thinking about Monopoly or analyzing it, but something about it feels kind of broken. Like it feels like you could, like that game is basically over in the first third, and then you're just dragging out the inevitable for a long, long time. Yeah, attrition is probably the right word for it. Did you ever play Monopoly with like we used to play with we'd form like what you call it, alliances with other teammates. Technically, probably not legal. Like I don't think there's anything in the rule book about Monopoly alliances, but it made it a lot more interesting. Also, we oh, that's cool. Canadian board figure 8. I've never done that. That's cool though. I also revised the battleship rules, and I always liked my rules better. We play regular battleship, except what you do is on your turn you could either attack or move one of your ships one space, which made it more like an actual battle. It made it harder to track. And it works surprisingly well. It doesn't really break the game. It just it takes a little bit longer, but not that much longer, because once you've hit a boat, you basically know kind of where it is, but it just makes it a little more tense. Yeah, totally. You could move into a space that was already fired upon. You can move your ship anywhere, like one space, because a ship would logically be able to move unless it was crippled. That could be a new rule: is if the ship is hit in a specific location, maybe it can't move. I don't know. Or what if you could rotate them? But you'd have to rotate them 90 degrees, right? Because the battleship board is a grid. But what makes it fun is when you're attacking. I mean, you can't really use the same visual logistics of not attacking where you've already attacked before, because ship may have moved there by then. A fun strategy is to like because instinctively you want to move a ship that's been hit or that's about to be hit, but if you just kind of let that ship go down and kind of fake your opponent out by moving a totally other ship into a zone that you know they've already fired on, that that works pretty well too. That'd probably be pretty easy to code. You could probably make a pretty simple like game maker Unity battleship game with those rules. Excuse me. Yeah, I thought about throwing a copyright up there, but I don't think I can copyright Battleship. Oops. All right, here we go. Bears have such floppy, like their paws are always kind of flopped backwards. It makes them awkward to draw sometimes. Like they almost like they have paddle feet. And I found that like there are some pretty convenient like bear face shapes. Like like there's this sort of heart. If you do this sort of heart shape with like a snout and do these kind of beady eyes close together, and then like surrounded by like a giant head. That's one version. And then you can also do like sort of a reverse heart, like almost like a peach shape. It almost looks like a raccoon, but some bears are. Yeah, there's a lot of like fat and fur around that head. Like their faces are actually pretty small inside that giant head. Also, this sort of bear mouth shape really reads as bear. Like when you have their nose is here, and then the mouth kind of goes like this. Floppy, floppy lip bear mouth. Cross Contour is now following. Hi, Cross Contour. Welcome. Thanks for the follow. Kind of want another cup of coffee. So this panel here, this third panel, is actually going to be like sort of a hazy. I might do that all in color because it's sort of just a hazy shape. Ben Caldwell, how you going? How you going? How you doing? In Trinidad, where my mom's from, they say how you going? How you going? This is Ben. These are, what am I using here? This is the 4B Real Pencil. Frendon's Real Pencil, but it's usually black, but I've got this layer set to blue, so I'm just kind of doing a really sketchy thing, and I set all my rough drawing layers to blue, and usually I have it set to gray scale to make it a little softer. Oh, but I pencil digitally, yes. I'm doing all of this digitally right now. Oops. Are you working now, Brendan? Ben, what are you up to? It's not a throne of lies. I'm not hiding the fact that it's digital. This comic was the only thing I did for a long time that wasn't digital, but it was too much of a pain in the ass to try to get stuff scanned while living over here. So I started doing it digitally, and it's also been a bit easier. There's so much Zipatone here. It's overwhelming, the amount of Zipatone, the Zipatone options. Sorry, this auto mod stopped your question, Andre. After using the iPad for a while, are you going back to the Cintiq land? Well, probably. Probably, Andre. I'll go back when I move back to Canada and get back my stuff out of storage. I'll use the Cintiq again. Mostly, well, I have finer control over it, but mostly for my posture. There isn't a great way to sit with this iPad and draw without really hurting my back for long periods. And with the Cintiq, I have it more kind of upright, so I can keep a straighter back and draw like this. But with the iPad, I'm either like slouched in a chair or hunched over it, and it's yeah, it's not great. But the result is basically the same. I'm in Japan till August, then, and then I'm back in Canada. I could just bring back a ton of Zipatone and sell it. No, my wife's teaching here. We've been here since August of 2018, and we just have a little apartment here. Our kids are going to school, Japanese schools, and I'm just working from home, which I'm not sure I'm allowed to do. Like when you move here, I think you're supposed to. Like your visa is dependent on like I basically have, I don't know what kind of visa I've got exactly, but but I think I'm supposed to not technically be working, even digitally, for whatever reason. I am just recreationally drawing. This is just like stuff that I mean, technically, what is this work? I'm gonna finish this comic and put it up on the web for free. So Ben, do you ever stream stuff? Yeah, I'd have to prove that I'm actually making any money in comics. A Conan-ish cover for fun, or you just messing around? Holy shit! Have you guys seen Ron Garney's Conan work? It's amazing. I just see it pop up on Instagram, but shit, it's all so good. How long does a strip take? One of these, like from start to finish? I don't know. I usually start. I start streaming it around noon and have nearly finished it by 3. I usually have to get off the stream at 3, so 3 hours, I guess, approximately. Depends if it's like how complicated the panels are. I don't do any thumbnails for these strips like this. I'm pretty much just winging it. Like when I'm working on like easel page or comic pages, I don't really thumbnail them. I do basically roughs like this. Like I have like a basic sequence or panel layout in my head, and I'll rough it out like this, and I'll just make revisions on the fly while I'm inking them. But this is but these, like, I try to just kind of be spontaneous. If I mean, when I go back and look at some of the finished ones, I'm not thrilled with, like, you know, they could have used more thought, but you know, I try to keep these as like off the cuff as I can. Oh, see ya. Bye, Andre. I usually have like a moment or like an emotional beat I want to hit for someone. Like I'm not great at putting together punchlines and gags and stuff. Like if I try to do a joke, it usually I think kind of falls flat. But if I'm doing you know, just character bits, uh, I think usually I can make them work with like one or two key beats or panels. Um, and I think cinematically in those terms. Like I think that helps uh, sell each comic, but they don't all work. Like I don't put them all in the books when I print them. Some of them are crap, but I leave everything on the web so you can see you can see all the warts. Hey, Spider Freak. Oh, I think I messed up my knee running. I guess runner's knee is a thing, but like now I've like for the last couple of weeks I've really messed up my legs. Just trying to stretch. I can't bend or move anywhere without my inner knee hurting. Thanks, Spider Freak. Yeah, Isola issue 7 goes to the printer this Friday, I think. So as soon as I'm finished today's Abominable comic, I got to go back and do some polishing um, on that issue so it can go to the printer. Okay, these pencils are done. I'm gonna bust up these panels and start inking it. Yeah, I usually didn't have knee problems, but this has been kind of bad. Dwayne, are there any pages for Isla that you make you cringe and wish you could redraw? Yeah, for sure. Most of them. You can see, like, I don't know, like I see like a certain quality level. Like there are peaks and valleys, but I'm mostly really happy with most of the first and second issue stuff. And then as like I can see where some of the quality dipped as a result of deadlines or whatever. Yeah, there are ups and downs. There's all those things that you'd want to change. Thanks, Spider Freak. Yeah, totally. It's age, Dwayne. Like I'm gonna be I'm gonna be 45 in June. So like I think like the like years and years of sitting at a desk and drawing are taking their toll on like my hands get sore. Like I feel like I'm probably gonna have some arthritis issues in the future, and like my back hurts. So I just have to to stretch all the time. Ben, if you're sitting around working and you've got a microphone and you want to hang out and chat on the stream, let me know and I'll just pipe your audio in. That would be fun. If it's not too distracting for you, maybe, I don't know. Some people don't like to work and talk at the same time. Brendan's back. Dogtrot, I could have an NHL career until the end of this year, I guess. Is 45 old for a hockey player? I guess so, right? Spider Freak. The only show, because I'm in Japan until August, the only show I have confirmed is New York Comic Con. I'm gonna drive down to New York with Andy Belanger, and I think we're gonna share a table there. I haven't actually. I think he's registered with them. I don't think I've sent them anything, so they probably don't know I'm coming yet. Brendan, you're not on the way to New York. But if you want to ride with us, I'm probably not a problem. I think we're taking Andy's Jeep, so you should. We'll talk to him closer to the date. All right, let's ink this thing. American Ninja Warrior. Oh, no, I've never seen that. I thought you were talking about American Ninja, the old 80s movie, which I've for sure seen. Did you guys ever see the old movie No Retreat, No Surrender? It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome in a terrible way. It's an old crappy American martial arts film about a guy who is getting beat up at school and then goes and like I think he meets the ghost of Bruce Lee or something who trains him to fight. It's really bad. But I probably saw it when I was 9 or something, and I was pretty inspired. We were talking about old athletes, but my brain moved ahead when you mentioned Ninja Warriors. Yeah, it's a terrible knockoff Karate Kid, Brendan. It's really bad. But I recommend it anyway. Favorite animated films? Why didn't everybody chime in on this? Favorite animated films? Well, My Neighbor Totoro is one of my favorites. Nausicaa is probably my favorite Miyazaki film. Do You Remember Love? Macross Do You Remember Love film is one of my favorite animated films. I'm sure there are many. Oh, I just watched Spider-Verse. Um, yeah, and Your Name, what's it called? I watched that while I was here. Kimi no Nawa. It's really good. Porco Rosso, yeah. Porco Rosso is a weird one. Yeah, well, Totoro is the first Miyazaki film I saw, and it really struck a nerve and inspired me to like. It was just my style of storytelling, and there was nothing else. I hadn't seen anything else like it. Um, and I also think it's really tight and great. So it remains one of my favorites. But Nausicaa, whatever you pronounce it, I think is my favorite of the Miyazaki films, just because it's like I feel like it really kind of encapsulates everything he's about. Like I feel like he basically could have made that one movie and been done. Like everything else just feels like a more indulgent Nausicaa in terms of the themes and stuff he's playing with. Anyway, Spider-Verse was really good. I liked it a lot. I thought it was not a quite like mostly it's great for the visual style of it. It's not like an amazing story or script or anything. It's just really beautiful to look at. There's a lot of cool, innovative stuff in there. I bought it on iTunes when it came out and watched it with my family last Friday, I guess. I bought the entire Nausicaa manga, the box set of it, and I've only read a bit of it because the film only goes up to it doesn't it's like only a small part of the story, but I think it gets very political after that. Like I don't know how interested I am in all that stuff. Thorn du Montfort is now following. Hi, welcome. Thanks for following. This is just an atmosphere panel of branches. I've not seen Alita yet, but I would like to. Thanks, Dogtrot. Is Ben Caldwell going to join the stream? Uh, if he would like to, he's welcome. I'd be happy to do it. He says he doesn't know what a microphone is though, so maybe it's not going to happen. Hey, Panorama, how you doing? The way it would work, what I've been doing is when Michelle comes on or Brendan or anybody else, I usually just have them. I set up an audio chat using Discord, but I could also use Skype or something like that, and I just pipe in the audio. Or if you have a Twitch channel, I can also grab that and like show your screen in a separate window so people can see what you're working on. Well, that panel's done. Didn't Scotty do that in one of the Star Trek movies? Didn't he talk into the mouse? Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. People say always talk about Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home like it's a great movie, but it actually is kind of shit. Shut up, Dogshot. That was a private conversation. Look, I watched Pitch Perfect with my wife because she didn't want to sit there and listen to Joe Rogan podcasts, which is probably what I would have been doing. Pitch Perfect was quality movie watching time with my wife. And then she spent like the next hour looking at show choir YouTube videos, which let me tell you, were pretty disappointing all around. Seems like a pretty low bar to being in a show choir. Standards are low. Dog Trot. That's the one I'm on. Like I'm like an hour and a half into Alex Jones episode, and it is fucking bonkers. Like I, like he just sounds like a raving psychotic. I don't even know anything about Alex Jones other than like I never even really heard of him until there was this controversy. I was never in a show choir. I was in some high school plays. Oh, did you? Hang on. I gotta turn Skype on. You gotta warn me. See if I can. Hopefully, this won't slow down. Oh, I forgot to put my headphones on. Yeah, it's a massive stage, Geketsu. Like I can just I was listening to it, just imagining the number of people who were being stoked by that ranting. But you can even like just looking at him, his like he's all red, his eyes are bug. He looks like he's on some other plane of reality. Where are you on Skype, Ben? I don't think I even have you. Oh, here we go. Ben, you're not on Discord, I'm assuming, right? I felt bad for Rogan, kind of like, I mean, it's he's walking a tightrope there because if he disagrees too harshly, he's going to get into another insane argument with this guy. So he just kind of kept agreeing with things that were clearly insane. I think I sent you a Skype invitation, Ben. Anyway, it's epic. It's like a 4 hour podcast or something, which is cool. But like I don't know like I don't know if I have the patience to listen to that guy rant for that long. Who are some of the main influences in your art? Well, when I let's see, how far back do I go? When I first got interested in comics, I guess well, when I first started like noticing and appreciating the art in comics, I think I was influenced a lot by Frank Miller and Bill Sienkiewicz. None of this stuff you could see in my work, really. Wendy Pini on ElfQuest. I read a lot of ElfQuest. Hal Haruhiko Mikimoto, who's the character designer of Macross. That was a major influence. And then later, when I was in my teens and I kind of got back into comics, I was a huge Jim Lee fan. Okay, I still love Jim Lee, but like I was hugely inspired by Jim, and like all my stuff was just like wannabe Jim Lee stuff until probably actually then some Mignola crept in there, so it started getting more contrasty, and then I took a turn toward when I started like really getting into all of the like the Bengus Akiman Street Fighter Capcom design art, and I had the big book of Capcom designs, and then everything I did got more open, and I started leaving stuff open for color, and basically was like that for a long time, and then it was influenced a little by some other manga, and I guess that's where I am now, I think. Well, there are a bunch of different artists in there, but that was sort of the trajectory of it. I remember like when I first discovered Photoshop and I started like looking at a lot of that Capcom art, and like what I would do was like I would draw these character images on paper, and then I would actually draw in all of the like the outlines for like the shadows and stuff, and then I'd scan the page and I'd color it flat in Photoshop, and then I'd go and manually remove all of the lines I made. Like I'd fill those shapes with shadows and then manually remove all the lines. It was a massive pain in the ass, but I learned a lot about Photoshop. You're not on here on Skype, Ben. I've sent an invitation. Unless it's an old account. Jeff Solway art is following. Thanks for the follow, Jeff. And hello. What the hell, Skype? I remember actually being surprised at one point, um, like later in my career, when I looked at something I'd done on the shelves, and I thought, oh, this actually doesn't look like I can't actually identify, like directly identify the influences here, like the way I used to be able to. Like I'd see, I'd look at my work and think, oh, that's a, you know, like that's a Jim Lee nose or shape or whatever. It finally got to the point where it just kind of looked like its own thing, I guess. Or maybe it doesn't. Like maybe other people see more clear influences in it. Have you seen Bryn Methane's work? No, I have not. Okay, okay, Dwayne, go get some sleep. Thanks for hanging out as long as you did. Oh, maybe this will work. No. Sorry guys, I'm just fighting with Skype here. That's why I'm not drawing. Well, apparently Scott Kurtz is streaming right now also, but I think you have to be like a Patreon subscriber. Skype won't even let us chat. It won't recognize this invitation. Yeah, I've sent a message to Ben Caldwell Art, but he won't answer me. Rejected by Ben Caldwell Art. I gotta say, the Discord chat has been pretty painless. It seems to work pretty well and doesn't eat up a ton of resources. Hey, Dogtrot, wanna you wanna give me like a brief recap about what's going on with Justin Trudeau right now? Why is he getting? I just saw a brief headline flash on my screen, and he seems to be getting a lot of flack about something, but I don't know what it is. Is it like oil pipeline stuff? What kind of break? Like a tax break? Oh, uh-huh. Oh, wow, that's juicy. What corporation was it? Bear noses are a lot like pig noses. Oh, I guess I should actually go read the news instead of just looking at the Google News headlines that show up on my phone. Yeah, he's. I always wonder, like like, how much is he or anyone just under the heel of the party? You know, like I get the impression that that's not a personal decision. That's just like some party line thing. Like I don't know how many decisions are actually just party decisions. Hi, Syrinxian, and also Mehmet Kasinov. Okay, Spider Freak, thanks for hanging out. Good questions. See you next week, hopefully. Oh, I gotta open Twitter now. Oh, wow. Beautiful. Thanks, Syringsian. Thanks for stopping by. Catch you later. Sorry, I didn't mean to open a can of political worms here. I was just, I guess I was just too lazy to go and read. So. I want to use the excuse that I'm out of the country, so I don't know what's going on. But the truth is that I'm usually blissfully ignorant of most news. Our Sam BF is now following. Hello, welcome. Thanks for following. You just joined a political conversation. Canadian politics. Quick, guys. Constitutional monarchy, good or bad? I kind of like having a queen as a figurehead. No, I'm not Dog Trot. I think I've heard of it. I'm sure there are differences at some levels of government but I have no idea what those differences are. And to me, it basically just seems like, um, you know, having a honorary, like an honorific, basically, like just like sort of having a figurehead queen. My stylus is just like, it's kind of just going tap 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 a lot. It might also just be cooing. There are some pigeons that hang around outside this window. Okay, I'm gonna add a bunch of like misty background, trees and branches. I'm gonna do the color here. Next panel. No raccoons today. There are some. I actually, when I went back to look at some of the old comics to get myself caught up again, I found some stuff that was like sort of mistakenly out of order. Like I done some comics in the story that I guess should have occurred earlier, but it had been so long that I guess I didn't research it properly and kind of messed up. So when they go in the book, though, I'll have to put them back in order. Specifically, like I've got like Vivol here. He actually reaches this grove in one comic, and then several months later, I did another comic of him, like still kind of on the way here, encountering some other animals. What was it? It was Geketsu. It was just I think it was like a layer name that of for an image that Dogtrot was working on. He posted the image in the Discord channel just today. No, it was the other way around. Geketsu Big Face existed before the shenanigans. I have no actual claim to it. You guys ever watch Lindsay Ellis's YouTube videos? She does these really great analyses of different films and often like different film tropes and stuff like that. I think she did something about Labyrinth. I can't remember. Did Jim Henson personally work on that first Ninja Turtles movie, or was it just like Jim Henson Studios? Because those turtle costumes, I know there was some Henson work on that movie. I bet you David Peterson would know. As both a Turtles and Henson aficionado. What? You got a karate lesson taught by the two actors who played the actual turtles? Donatello's voice was Corey Feldman, wasn't it? I don't know who Leonardo was. Corey Feldman was Donatello for sure. I think he was the only name voice actor in the Turtles. And I actually just rewatched that recently, and I never realized like how much Elias Koteas, is that how you pronounce his name? The guy who played Casey Jones. Um, he's like a kind of like a young um, De Niro in that movie a little bit. He's actually really good in that movie, despite the bullshit he has to say. If you haven't watched that, if you haven't watched that Turtle Power documentary, I recommend watching it. It's really good. It's really inspiring. I don't even know if it's on Netflix anymore. I think that's where I watched it quite a long time ago. I like the first Turtles movie. I think it kind of holds up. I actually thought that the it was a bit ballsier than it could have been given the time it came out and like the toy line and all that stuff. I thought like Raphael was appropriately dark and troubled, and they could very easily have done a more safer, more bubbly take on it. Oh, really, Geketsu? I didn't know that about that they wrote that about Elias Koteas. Yeah, it's he's a solid actor. I remember first seeing him on. I probably first saw him in Turtles, but then like he was in stuff like The Adjuster. He was in like Adam McGowan films and stuff like that. So I saw a lot of him. Is Sam Rockwell the um? Wait, where was Sam Rockwell in Turtles? What am I doing here? This panel was done like 10 minutes ago. I'm just noodling around. I guess I'll add some darker black to it. Sam Rockwell was a gang leader? Oh, I get that. Yeah, I can see that. He it looked like I recognized him, but not as Sam Rockwell. It kind of I thought it was the a younger version of the dude who was like one of the morticians in 6 Feet Under. I don't know why I thought that. Lead thug. Yeah. I actually really like the um, the first season of that Nickelodeon Turtles cartoon. I thought it might be my favorite characterization of those of the turtles ever because they're all very distinct. I like that. I like the different body types. I think the character, I think the personalities are all really well defined. Like like in the first Turtles movie, and even in the old cartoon, I feel like, with the exception of Michelangelo being an idiot and Raphael being a little bit, actually even in the cartoon, they were sort of all the same, except Michelangelo was sort of a doofus. But I'm talking about the I don't know what year it came out. The how many Nickelodeon Turtles series have there been? This is a few years old, and I guess probably they've changed it again. It's the one that has Sean Astin as Raphael and Jason Biggs as Leonardo. It walks a pretty good line between being like kid friendly and comedic and being semi serious. No, I don't think Raphael's a snapping turtle, is he? Unless they change it again. Raphael has a pet turtle named Spike in it. Earthy character actor, best known for his starring roles in Canadian art house puzzlers like, yes. Yeah, someone should have cast him as Robert De Niro's son. Yeah, totally. Well, Dog Trot, Raphael is a regular turtle like the other guys, but he has a pet turtle named Spike who gets covered in mutagen at some point and then turns into a giant snapping turtle mutation that they then have to fight. I haven't seen any of the Turtle series since that one, and it seemed pretty new to me. But like the Turtles were sort of off my radar for a long time. And then I watched that, and I thought, oh shit, this is pretty good. And then by season 2 or 3, it kind of got crappy again. Von Dune is now following. Hello, thanks for the follow. It's almost 2 o'clock here, which means I've got another hour left of the stream before I gotta go. I think that's enough time to get this thing done, colored. Okay, I've not seen this one where Michelangelo is a girl, but the one before it, yes. I guess that's probably the one I'm thinking of. And Nolan North is the voice of the Krang robots in that show. Nolan North of Nathan Drake Uncharted fame and every other video game. Okay, phone. What is it? What can I do for you? You got Skype working? I'll turn Skype on again and see if that's true. Ah, it's not working at all. It ended in 2017. Yeah, I haven't seen any of them since then, but I really like that one. How did we get on the Ninja Turtles? I don't even remember. Oh, Henson. That's what it was. It all gets back to Beak Face. Like everything. Okay, Ben. Catch you later. If we can get Skype working next time, let's hang out and talk. It doesn't have to be on stream. We could just hang out and chat. This is proof that you can draw any old shape and turn it into a convincing tree. Did I tell you guys about the virtual reality Evangelion ride I went on at Universal Studios? Man, Dogshot, I wish that were true. I hope that's true. I'd love to read a live live pitch perfect viewing. I can't wait till you get to the John Lithgow scene. Good night, Mehmet. Ksinov. Thanks for hanging out. See you next week, hopefully. That's true. I'm almost finished inking this thing. I'm always embarrassed when I don't pronounce someone's screen name correctly. This scene is mostly just spooky tree silhouettes. I think I only laughed one time during Pitch Perfect 3, and it was like a totally throwaway line from some other character in the like some character in the movie who had one line. I'm not going to recommend or not recommend Pitch Perfect 3. I think you know what you're you're in for. You know what I do kind of want to watch is that Bumblebee movie. That looks kind of cool. I only thought of that because what's her face, girl from True Grit, is in the Bumblebee movie and also is in Pitch Perfect. So while I was watching, or mostly listening to Pitch Perfect because I was working, I thought, oh, it's that girl from True Grit. I want to see that Bumblebee movie. First, I thought, oh, it's that girl from True Grit who was nominated for an Oscar for her role in True Grit. What is she doing in this fucking Pitch Perfect movie? Maybe I should maybe I should put on the second half of this Alex Jones Joe Rogan podcast while I'm working for you guys to listen to. Up in the Air is so good. I love Up in the Air. You mean Anna Kendrick from Trolls? Yes, we can do a host raid thing tonight. Who do you want to? Who's streaming? I always intend to do one, but I'm on at such a weird time. I never know if anyone's actually. Why is my throat full of garbage? Excuse me for a second. I'm gonna get a glass of water. Be right back. All right. Where were we? Connor. Okay, yeah, sure. My legs hurt when I got up. Does that count? I brought back some trail mix, and as I was mixing it together, I was wondering, what is the perfect trail mix? Why is it called trail mix? Is it a snack that people take on hikes? Gamer 27. Hello. It's 5:30 where you are? Sorry, I put my bowl of trail mix right beside the microphone. I'm still kind of astounded by the picture Dog Trot posted on Discord of a raccoon on the horse's back. I can't believe that's a real thing. Hey, Enders Creates. Yeah, it was a long time with no updates. It sort of took like an anxiety crisis to get back on the horse and start doing it again. You're looking for comics for a 12-year-old girl. Um, yeah, I'm sure there are a bunch. Well, like have you have you gone to like all the Raina Telgemeier stuff? Because that seems like an obvious choice, like Smile and Drama and Ghosts and the entire Raina canon. And that'll keep her busy for a long time. Probably what it'll do is turn her into like a comics fan. Yeah, Bone's always a good recommendation for kids of any age, really. I've never really read Lumberjanes, but people seem to like it. I only thought of it because there was a Gotham Academy crossover with it, and so the audience is probably similar. Like Lumberjanes, I feel like might not be a good ESL choice because I think it's a little more slangy. Oh, Persepolis, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I don't know if Persepolis is good for a 12-year-old. But well, I'll tell you, like I really, if you can find, and you can, I'm sure, if you can find the original ElfQuest uh, books, that's a good choice. I was reading ElfQuest when I was probably around that age, like 11 or 12, and I loved it. Now I think later on in that series things might get a little bit racy, but 12 years old, it's not so bad. Actually, I think the Peonies put all of ElfQuest online for free, at least the original stuff. I think you can go on their site and read it. If you want to convert her, get her the Reina stuff. That'll get her that'll get her hooked and she won't even like really think about the fact that she's reading comics, and then she'll crave more of it. I'm trying to think of how old I was when I read Dark Knight Returns and Elektra Assassin, which confused me a little bit, but also um, really excited me. I must have been around that age. There's so much political stuff in The Dark Knight Returns that I didn't understand at all when I was a kid, but it didn't lessen my enjoyment of it. Zero Soul Xeon is now falling. Hi, thanks for the follow. Hello. Welcome. We were just trying to think of comic recommendations for 12-year-old girls who, for whom English is a second language. If you got any recommendations, hit us up. The first ever comic was Punisher 2099. Wow. It's going okay here. Zero Souls. Zero Souls. Yeah, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. I'm almost finished inking this comic, and then I'm gonna throw some color on it and post it later today. Zeros. Oh, you don't have recommendations. Fair enough. Okay, gotcha. Do you have different storylines already worked out in your head? I work week to week on them, but I have they're basically like 4 or 5 different storylines going on. So um, I'll usually kind of pick whichever one I haven't been dealing with for a while, or one that's like that suits my mood. And today I wanted to get back to what's going on with Vivo here and Luga the wolf, ex-police ex-cop Wolf. There's a meeting in this grove. Are you talking about the Gem comics by Sophie Campbell and Kelly Thompson? I think I only have the first one of those, but they're very pretty. Oh, Gamer, you have a Luga sketch? That's awesome. I love Luga. I haven't gotten back to those owls in a while, but I will. Okay, I think these inks are pretty much done. And the rest of this is going to be done using color. Thanks, Underscreed. That Are You the Wind one? It's wait, is it the one with the fox? There's or the one with there's one oh yeah, it's the one with like the fox and like a little marmot or something. I think that's like the only comic I did that made my made my brother laugh. It's the only one he ever commented on. What the hell? All right, it's color time. I miss my old Photoshop brush for coloring this comic. I don't even know. It's more of like a chalk textured brush. Oh, I got it. One of these nuts. Gotta get more of these nuts in my mouth. Anyway, but the old brush, I haven't found a way to replicate it yet in Clip Studio, but it was like a chalk, like a water, kind of like a watercolory chalk brush. This one, you can see up close, like I get sort of like a water effect out of it, but it's not the same texture. I kind of miss it. Scratchy thinker, yeah, okay. I haven't. Can you turn those into like watercolor like bleed brushes? I guess I haven't really just experimented with them at all. I've just been taking stuff. Zero. Yeah, this is my webcomic. It's called The Abominable Charles Christopher. I do it every week. I started it years ago. I did it for like 7 years every week, and then I was kind of on and off mostly off for a long time, and I've resumed it now. So I'm doing them every Wednesday, and I stream it while I'm doing it. But you can read them all. Hang on, I should probably have a shortcut for this. There's the link to the comic. I've got like a shortcut for social stuff, for Discord. I don't actually have one to the comic. I have to fix that. I guess I just assume that most people here already know it. But anyway, you can read years worth of archives there. But if you just want to follow week to week, you can just follow me on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, or Facebook. And I post them all there too as I finish them. Thanks, gamer. Yeah, I'll check out the settings another time. This is not bad. I mean, I don't hate this. It's just there's something sort of missing. Yeah, I hear you, Zero. Social media is not really my thing either, but I do use it to update all my comic stuff. I just try to get the comic to where people are. But yeah, I mean, if you just go to the website, you're good. Everything is there. You're welcome. How did if you're not on social media, do you mind me asking how did you find this stream? Are you just on Twitch? Oh, cool. Well, I'm glad you found me. Sorry about the eating on camera. All right, time to move on. Next panel. Save. Okay, I will save. It's kind of like the Clip Studio, I think, is kind of saving on its own in the background anyway, but that's no excuse. I'm going to add a mist layer over the foreground here eventually. To make it spookier. I think even Photoshop sort of has like a kind of a backup function now. Like it'll, even if it crashes it on the desktop, it'll kind of often save some of your stuff. Not that you should depend on that. I missed streaming, gamer. Like I was, I couldn't quite get it together, mentally or psychologically, or in terms of schedule to resume it. Oh, thanks for hosting, Zero. But yeah, I do. I look forward to it. I actually miss it during the week, even when I'm not when I'm too busy. Oh, that was weird. I was just drawing this branch, and I got like a weird flashback to the woods in the park near my grandparents' house that I used to walk in when I was a kid. I was in Toronto. I was born in Toronto, but I don't say Tirana like Toronto natives do. I was pronounce the hard T in Toronto. Oh, weird. Tirana. I always miss Toronto when I don't miss it a lot generally, but when I'm back there for TCAF and stuff like that, I find that I really miss it. Usually because it's like, that's in May, so it's just starting to get nice out. And I kind of like just walking around that city. You've never been to any kind of comic convention? I don't know that you're really missing out on much. It was a big deal, like when I was first trying to get into the industry. Like I remember my first convention was I think maybe Chicago Comic Con, and it was like I mean I just think I was the right age. Like it was a really cool time in the industry. I was an aspiring comic book artist, and I was like, you know, like I was exactly the age to be. I was super like still into actually going to the store and reading a ton of comics every week, and it was amazing to just go to this place and see this like this concentrated version of everything I was into. And now I've been to a million of them, and I'm jaded and like and it just feels like work. Like it's nice to go there and meet people, but it's a lot of work. It's exhausting, and it's also a very different feeling than it used to be. Like just like the stuff. It's so much less about comics now. It feels like. Where'd you meet Dave Kellett? I met Dave probably. How did that happen? Like I think I was listening to Webcomics Weekly, and they sort of peripherally knew about this comic. And I think I don't remember which show it was. I think I talked to him in San Diego. Anyway, I've seen him in a couple different shows, but I remember I just went and found him and Scott and Brad and Chris, and I just went and talked to them. So if I'm at a show like and those guys are there, I'll always go and try to find them and chat. Always be closing? I want to go to TCAF, but I'm still going to be here, so it seems unlikely that I'll make it to TCAF this year, which sucks because I really like going to TCAF. But I guess it's gonna have to wait till next year. New York is the only convention on my list so far. I've been invited to some other ones, but they're all like in the summer before I get back to Canada. Oh yeah, it says Dogtrot. Are you going to come and meet up with you and Michelle TCAF? I just inserted myself into that conversation. Like a jerk. Forest City Comic Con 2020. I'm gonna do I'll color all these panels and then do a final mist layer over top of everything else. Uh-oh. Guys, it's 3 o'clock. I gotta go. I lost track of the time. Well, this trip's nearly done. You got to see most of it here in progress. So I think I gotta sign off, and we'll jump to, what's the address I'm supposed to host, Brendan? Or raid? Well, let me say my goodbyes and thank yous now before kids start coming home. Thank you to everyone who came to hang out. Thank you to the new followers today: Cross Contour, Thorn Du Montfort, Jeff Solwayart, RSAMBF Von Dun, and Zero Solution. That's how I'm reading it, Zero Solution. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out. I'll be back here next week, possibly sooner. Here's the link to the Discord channel, in case you want to follow me there. That's where I post. We have discussions there all the time. They're usually really fun. I post there whenever I'm going to do a spontaneous stream, or you can find me on these Twitter, Instagram, blah blah blah. Connor Hughes. Oh, I think I followed Connor Hughes before. Anyway, thanks again, guys. I'm gonna see if this raid works. I'm sending you all over to Connor Hughes' channel. Say hi for me. Until next week. Bye-bye.